Guys, good Thursday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across Albemarle County, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. We're presented today by our friends, Skooma Boutique Dispensary. The best dispensary in Charlottesville is Skooma Boutique Dispensary, with a location on the downtown mall and on the UVA corner off Elliowood Avenue, guys. More locations to come. Our friends at Castle Hill Cider have a big-time event going on this Sunday, the 231 Fest. Perfect for families, perfect for kids, face painting, food trucks, live music, cider, beer, wine. Maybe we see Chris Allen in the house at the 231 Fest.
Yes.
In fact, he could headline the 231 Fest. It's going to be a dynamite time at Castle Hill, guys, in Keswick. Judah Whitcower is our director. Let's go to the studio camera first, and then we'll go to a three-shot as we welcome Chris and Peppy Winchel to the program. Gentlemen, que pasa? How are you guys?
Hey, awesome. What's up? How you doing?
I am so pumped for today's show. Chris, I freaking love you, man.
Jerry, I love you.
The last time we had in Allen, in fact, I don't know if she goes with the last name moniker Allen, but it was your gorgeous wife.
Oh, yeah. See how she looked good that day?
She crushed it. Oh, dude, you know she's beautiful.
I was jealous, Jerry.
You outkicked your coverage on that one.
Oh, wow, thanks.
You outkicked your coverage on that
one. I did. To be honest, I really did. I was afraid for her to come down here and see you with all your Manhattan finance guy look.
He always gives me a little grief about the Brooks Brothers button down. My buddy.
I'm just saying, doesn't he look rich?
He said that to the last time.
You're
too.
rich. We got an undercover cop. We got Jonah over here.
We got all right. Let's get Peppy Winchel. Then we'll have some fun with Chris out here. Peppy Winchel, introduce yourself to everybody watching the show.
Peppy Winchel. I'm executive director for Thomas Jefferson EMS Council, and just looking forward to this weekend with Chris Sunday night at the comedy show at the Southern.
Let's talk about Chris the show. What's the nitty gritty?
Well, I invited a few of my funny friends to come down and show some appreciation to some first responders here in town, and I guess they're coming from all over the area, and I'm just looking forward to having a good time with some comics, and just show that these folks that I mean, they see people at their worst moments. You know what I mean? I can't imagine the stuff that EMS folks see day in and day out, and it's time for them to take a break and have some laughs and let them know we care about them, we're thinking about them, and that their mental state and health is very, very important, and I think I can provide some relief with some comedy.
And I was just sharing with Chris earlier that I see blood and guts and people in personal crisis, and I just didn't want to outstage him today with you, just in talking station humor. But this is really definitely going to be for the wellness of our first responders. It's a time for them to relax. Sunday being a fun day for the families at Ix Park, and then Sunday night being a little bit more station humor at the Southern Cafe with Chris and the folks he's got coming along.
How did you guys get up? How'd you guys meet?
I don't remember. Someone hooked us up.
Actually,
Grinder? No, he's gonna get in trouble. I can't remember who hooked us up, but someone was like, "Hey."
Actually, my right hand, Kathy Myers at the TGEM's office put us.
Kathy Myers is watching now.
Yeah,
Hi,
absolutely.
Kathy.
Yep, and she was great. She got us put us in touch. The first time I met Chris, brought him to the office, and he just shared how much he wanted to help out with the community. And the more he talked, the more it fell in line with. I'm just a comedian in the back of an ambulance, anyways. The more I joke with the patient, I feel that humor is definitely a good. Humor is best medicine, and when you can joke and talk to the patient and relieve their anxiety in that transition, right, it's a great time. And for the responders, we need that time to decompress. And as Chris was talking, being able to have that opportunity with somebody as
funny, sexy.
You're taking the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. To be able to provide that to our EMS providers this weekend for EMS Appreciation Week, it's a great opportunity.
One of the things I love about Chris Allen is he is unafraid to show vulnerability. His humor is often straight from current events, and the dude is crushing it.
I'm trying. Thanks, man.
Dude, you are, I sincerely mean this, you are bi-coastal. Every time I follow you actively on social, you're freaking everywhere now.
I'm trying to be, man. I owe a lot to a lot of people, man. A lot of people have faith in me and given me a lot of opportunity. You know, so I just try to capitalize on those opportunities and pay it forward when I can, man. But I appreciate that, you know.
How's the best son in the world? Is it Miles?
It's my.
How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's so smart. He's just he's code. He wants to be a coder, and he does these things on the computer. I'm like, I have no idea how you built that. He loves playing these games where he can make his own levels and stuff, and it really blows my mind.
Awesome.
Because he's getting so big. I just remember him being like a little burrito, man, and here he is on the computer making all this little stuff, and I'm like, this is my son. He was this big, and now he's smarter than me, and he's only 9. So I love it, man.
I love bringing up Miles because when I do, your face just lights up, man, and you can tell like the absolute adoration you have for your son.
It is. Oh, thanks, man.
Dude, and speaking from personal experience as a father, it ain't easy, but your boy is crushing it, man. The report card is off the chain.
Straight A's, you know, and the thing is,
Miles some props here. This is for you. I hope you show him this show.
I will. Good job, buddy. Good job, Miles. I'm proud of you. But it's been a long time coming, you know, like the ADHD and all that kind of stuff. My wife has really been on top of all that kind of, on top of all that, you know, just making sure he sees the doctor, just therapy, all that kind of stuff. The way we communicate with him is very, very important. And without my wife, man, me and him would be butting heads all day. But my wife is, she's everything, man.
Your gorgeous 7/8, your better 7/8 is watching. There's better halves, and then my wife and Chris's wife, as Keith Smith says, the better 7/8. She says this is the hardest working man in comedy, Chris Allen, right here.
I'm trying, man. I'm not where I want to be right now, but I'm getting there. I got some things coming up this summer I'm looking forward to. Mainly being, you know, Sunday, doing the EMS show. I'm really looking forward to that. I got some funny friends. I got a couple folks coming from D.C. I got another young lady coming from Virginia Beach, and I'm really, really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the one thing I really like working with, the thing I like about first responders and cops and all that kind of stuff is you can get so blue with those groups of people. Like he was saying, like just the humor at a fire station, at a police station, in a hospital, in the back of the ambulance, even in the military. Like I've heard stories about guys in combat, you know, awful things happening. The firefight dies down, the guys are wounded, and they're laughing. You know what I mean? Of course it's a serious thing, but there's just something about, you know, just going through something that traumatic where you need that release of laughing. And I'm looking forward to doing that this Sunday, man. I really am.
So, Peppy, multiple questions coming in. And, guys, if you want to give the guys some questions, put them in the feed, and I will relay it live on air. I sincerely mean that about your wife, and she's watching right there. You crushed it on the show.
She did.
Karen Jaffe.
Oh, Karen, yeah.
Giving you some props. So, Peppy, for you, multiple questions coming in. What's the state of the union from Grayson for EMS, for fire, rescue, and police in the area?
For Grayson? I'm sorry?
State of the Union. How you guys doing? How would you characterize how everything's going? Everything's about budget now.
It is. It's actually budget and personnel. Just as you were sharing earlier about Bodos, we could use some volunteers at some of our agencies. We could use some of career folks at some of our agencies. It's hard to keep somebody. In fact, you may not be aware of this, but EMS after COVID, all right, or during COVID, was elevated to the point of essential services. In Virginia Code, EMS providers were not considered essential providers in the community.
That's crazy.
It completely not. So
yeah.
I'm one of 11 councils in Virginia, and we're working with the state of Virginia to make that change in Virginia codes so that the providers get that recognition. But if we weren't essential, when you called 911, we wouldn't show up. So we're definitely essential. So that the state of the union is we need people to get out there. We need people that have the heart, have the spirit, and have the dedication to come and join us.
You know, one of the things that really irks me.
Besides Chris?
No, Chris I love. I love everything about that guy over there. This is what really irks me. The first responders being so underpaid. The people come to an accident or a ballsy situation where someone's life is on the line. And these folks are literally saving lives as they drive them to the hospital. Right. And they are some of the lowest paid citizens in this community. What is up with that? It makes no sense to me. Like teachers being low paid makes no sense to me.
I've had 3 three of the lowest paying jobs. I was a soldier, I was a teacher, and an EMS provider.
Dude, you're a freaking hero. This man's a hero.
I loved all of them. In being an EMS provider, the dedication is what drives me every time, every weekend to go out and volunteer my time to spend and I was just telling Chris that I relax on Sundays serving my community by running rescue. Now, it's a crazy Sunday because of the calls, or maybe a crazy Sunday as the calls come in, but I'm there to relax, and then I come back to my day job and deal with the regular admin stuff. But it's a dedication. It's a drive to do that.
Chris, a soldier, a teacher, and an EMS rescue man. I mean, he's a hero.
He is. He's done it all.
Now, the heroes are the support we get from the business community. Chris coming out and helping us out
Definitely
to provide us the training. Yep. And again, back to the humor. It's not about the wellness of the EMS providers is about being able to take time away from the scenes, from the incidents. You don't know when it's going to happen, right? And it's like you and your wife, or me and my wife, we knew we were in love, right? EMS providers, you don't know it's going to affect you until it affects you.
Right.
And you need that release to be able to get away from that. And one of the things that I'm looking for is providing those programs so that the EMS providers have that release. And one of these releases is Chris and his gaggle of friends to come in and find that release to be able to separate them and enjoy themselves.
What's the, Chris, for you, coming on the feed, what's the best venue you've played lately and why?
The best venue I played lately, I gotta say, it was why am I drawing a blank? Lincoln Theater
That's big time.
in Washington D.C. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you go back there backstage and you see Duke Ellington, and I get on Wikipedia and you see all the famous people and just icons and music and television that have played there. And it just feels good to be part of that history, even though I'm a very small part of that history. But still, just knowing, like, man, Duke Ellington and all these great comics were back here, and they walked out onto that stage, and I really take a lot of pride in that. Like, whenever I'm on stage or something like that, I always stop my mind and think, like, this is crazy. Like, why are you allowed to be up here? Like, just be,
because you're talented.
Be thankful for that. It's awesome. So even if I never make it big, I can always look back and go and think, like, I've done some pretty cool stuff.
You are uber talented.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm trying to accept compliments.
What do you make of where we are in this country, this world? I mean, because I know you get stressed out about some of this stuff. Let me rattle some things off, and you go anywhere you want.
All right.
We got a freaking war, Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
We got gas prices on Tuesday, the highest they've ever been ever.
Right.
Inflation at a 40-year high.
Right.
Housing is impossible to buy. Interest rates are going through the roof. We got the police not getting some of the support they probably should.
Right.
EMS probably not getting the support they should.
Schools suck.
Schools could be better.
Right.
I mean, what the hell's going on here?
Well, in the words of one of the greatest rappers of all time, Kendrick Lamar, we gonna be all right. Because honestly, I'll be completely honest. As a black person, I look at all the stuff that's going through, like the last couple of years. It's like, man, this is so rough. It's so scary. I don't know how we're going to make it through. But then I think about the older generation when, my parents, my grandparents, all the stuff they went through. And I'm like, they survived Martin Luther King's assassination. So we're not there. Things aren't that bad. I can't imagine being in the 60s. MLK is everything, and then boom, one day someone takes them. You think the world is over. If we can make it through that, we made it through slavery, we made it through all this stuff, we will make it through inflation. Yes, it sucks. But I think the biggest issue in our country right now is there is no mutual respect for each other in this country at all. Zero. It's a lack, there's a lack of respect.
Right there.
That's it. I don't care where you fall at on any political spectrum or religious spectrum. If you don't respect your neighbors at all, you're not going to get along. You don't have to agree with gay or trans and all that kind. You don't have to agree with that. But if you have a respect and a knowledge and a love for your fellow neighbors, you can go, hey, you know what? I don't understand that. That's not me. But I know that gal. I know that person. I know them. I know they have a good heart. If they want to be a him or they or she or gay or support Trump or be a Republican or be this whatever, I know deep down they're a good person and they're not out to hurt me. I might not agree, but I still like that person and I respect their choice, even though I do not agree.
Dude.
That seems like a mouthful, but
No.
there's no respect, man. There's
Peppy.
zero respect.
I'm all
On point.
all with it. All with it. And that's what EMS providers are doing when they go into any house. It doesn't matter. We don't have a laundry list of, I'm not going to go in this house because they're all the things he just mentioned, right? We're there because they called because they can't breathe. They're bleeding. They got pain somewhere. We don't make those decisions and judgments. We go in and help them out.
Right.
It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what gender they are. We go in and help them out and get them through their crises.
Right.
Let's throw this to you guys here. Your perspective is refreshing. You've done this show. We've been fortunate to have you here maybe 4 or 5 times over the last handful of years. One of the shows we did here was like two days before this whole town shut down.
Oh,
Remember with the pandemic?
Yeah.
You're like, Jerry, this is going to be real. And I'm like, this ain't going to be that big of a deal. This was before the pandemic happened. And he's like, this is going to be real. And you were right.
I left here and I went right up to the Kroger right there on 250 and Hydraulic. I went right there and bought all type of groceries. I was like, I got to get the hell out of here because things are about to go down.
And you were right.
Literally went to Kroger and I went to school and picked my son up and we were in the house for the next 2 years.
Yeah, he was exactly right. I'm like, no, we're going to be fine. And he was right. He had a crystal ball. He was right. Dude, your perspective is I've noticed with you coming on the show, it's refreshing. Are you more relaxed, you would say now?
I would say
more easygoing now?
A little bit, not as much. I'm back in therapy.
Okay.
I found a black therapist, which is dope.
A black therapist?
I found a black therapist here in town. Yeah, his name is Nick Wright. Make sure the Wright counselor group. If y'all need a therapist, go check out Nick. But we've been talking. That's helped a lot. You know, I had a therapist before. He was great. Nothing wrong with Larry at all. I love Larry Bear. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, just sometimes we need to talk to people who kind of look like a little bit more. We can use certain type of language. And that's not really just a racial thing. That it can be a job thing, you know, because there are people who I can talk to a little bit more because we in the military. They understand that lingo. They understand where I'm coming from. So a lot of it really is perspective. And we also have to realize the different hats that we wear. Yes, I'm a black man. I'm also a comedian. I'm a father.
A veteran?
I'm a veteran. I'm a husband. I'm a lot of different things. So I have varying opinions on all of this stuff, you know?
Well, and if I can jump in on this, I really do appreciate him bringing up that it's looking like somebody, because one of the things that we're looking at, what we're doing at the council is reaching out to try to find those next generation of EMS providers, reaching out to young ladies, reaching out to boys and girls clubs, to just the next generation. And being able to do that with individuals that look like the next generation, it gives them more.
They're more motivated.
More motivated. They see themselves in their shoes, and it can happen. And 20 years ago, it may not have been able to happen. Right. So seeing how things have changed, and I'm all supporting those opportunities so that we can get the older generation. I apologize to everybody calling you old. The experienced generation to give back to the next generation, so that we can get those middle school, high schoolers interested in EMS as an opportunity to pursue their health and medical careers in the future.
You're getting props from your cuz. Is it Channon Thiede?
Yeah, Channon Thiede. Yeah, he's a veteran as well. He's out of
Air Force
retired.
Yeah,
owns a restaurant out in San Antonio. So if you're out in San Antonio and you want to support a veteran, check him out. Excellent cook. Traveled all. He spent most of his time in Europe. And my aunt would get him these certificates to take all these classes and study with different chefs all around the world while he was on active duty. Retired, came back here, went to sommelier school, boom, moved to Texas. Now he's opening a restaurant. Very proud of him.
Dude, sounds like a baller. How about Oshar Antonio Reed?
Oshar, also another retired guy. I've known him for almost 20 years. Great guy. Now I'm working with the VA. Another great guy, man.
He said you're crushing it right now,
I'm
and you just
trying
hit the
to.
nail on the head.
I'm trying to. Can I say one thing?
Please.
I want to give a shout out to a very close family member. I don't want to out her because it's a private thing, but I'm very happy for them. They should be expecting a child soon, so nice. I'm excited for a family member. And let me say one more thing about the mutual respect.
Please.
Now, this family member that I'm talking about, her and her husband are having a very difficult time conceiving a child.
Okay.
Very hard. IVF, all that kind of stuff. It's very painful for her. She's also a Christian. Now, with this Roe v. Wade stuff that's going on, this person's a Christian. They're having a difficult time. And this person is still like, you know what? It is not my right to tell a woman what to do with their body. And here's a Christian woman having difficult, who would love to have a child in an easy manner, but that's not in the cards for her or for them. And she's still like, you know what? It is not right for me to tell somebody that they can and cannot, that they should have a baby or they shouldn't have a baby.
What do you make of the Roe v. Wade stuff? Peppy, I'm going to throw that to you.
Yeah,
I know that's a ballsy topic right now.
He's got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say this. I'm a gun guy. This I tell people. I'm a gun guy. Now, do I believe abortion is it's a wild one. I don't think we should be using abortion as birth control. That's just my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. If you want to have 5 abortions, that's fine, but I don't think that's what it's for. It's not my right to tell anybody what you can and can't do with your body. That's how I feel about it. I don't want someone telling me I can't have an AR-15, and I'm for damn sure not going to tell a woman she can't have 8 abortions. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. But again, it's not my right. And I also understand people make mistakes. Yeah, we all should get a couple mulligans here and there. But when you're like 6 or 7, and I might get in trouble for saying that, but I think that's a bit much.
Peppy, you want to touch on this? You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm gonna bring in my wife because I champion my wife as well.
Okay.
And she shared with me an image of "Don't Tread on Me," and she said, "This is the only Don't Tread on Me image I like." And it was a snake that was curled up in the form of a uterus, and that was the if you can visualize that, right? So, and just going along that lines, it's extremes that we're looking at. The legislation is coming back on the using abortion as a birth control, but if it's not taken, if abortion isn't utilized appropriately, or if legislation goes through, we may not be able to step in medically until sepsis occurs, which is a really, really bad infection, and that's life threatening. And that's when we don't want to be called because that patient's extremely sick, and that's way too late.
Right.
And there's so many things that we can do to minimize the cost of healthcare if we do proper preventative and mitigative programs and such. And I'll stop at that because I'm
Oh, you're passionate.
I'm passionate. Yes,
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can
and
tell.
again, I'm not judging anybody that does. That's just my own personal opinion. I get it. You're 20, you're in college, something happens. Yeah, you want to have a career. I absolutely understand that. But when it becomes 3, 4, 5, it's just like, hey, look, there's so many other options to be responsible. But I'm also not going to tell somebody that they have to carry a child. But it's just like, hey, not only are you're doing damage to yourself. And we were talking about that kind of psychological stuff. Like while you're living your life, people might not think about that kind of stuff. But later on in life, where you hit 60, 70, you don't have kids, and all of a sudden you start thinking about all those abortions that you might have had, and go, man, if I wouldn't have, I might have grandkids by now. Because I know people who decided to just not have kids, and now they're elderly and they regret it. You know.
I'll throw the Russia-Ukraine war to you. I know you got a take on this. I know you've been thinking about this.
I got a weird take.
Okay, I can't wait to hear your take.
It's really messed up. We're caught between a rock and a hard place. As an American, I really I want to help people. You know, I'm prior military.
He's a veteran, guys.
Yeah, I'm a veteran,
yeah.
But it's just like when I see us just throwing money at other countries where, I mean, I got friends who are teachers and stuff in Baltimore, just hearing about those school conditions. I mean, a lot of the public schools and stuff, the veterans that we have on the street that these politicians say that we got to take care of, we're not taking care of them. Again, the fact that there are innocent people being killed, it really, really sucks. But I would like to see us take care of home, you know. And on a lighter, not a lighter note, but a more comic note, it's just weird. White people die and we get higher gas prices. It's just I know that's a weird thing to say. It's just like, we have nothing to do with that, but yet here we are forced to kind of like get involved because no one likes their pockets affected.
You think we should get involved? Peppy, you want to jump in here?
So,
you don't have to.
I know you
got to play it a little safer than Chris and I here.
No, EMS is worldwide, right? And the public health conditions, the public health response to the mass refugee camps and the help that's being, if given the opportunity, I'd get on a plane and be over there and helping out the refugees that were coming over. It's not their choice that their cities and their communities were bombed or they're getting shelled, and they're just being displaced. So being there to provide them, and it's cold, you know, and they're hungry, and they don't have anything. Everything, they've got, a suitcase and a kid. Yeah. And they're crossing the border. And the folks that have traveled distances to offer the help there, hands down applaud everybody who's in that providing those services. So that's my take, is that even in the crappiest of times, there's still others that are still out to serve others, just with no benefit to themselves.
I gotta throw Vladimir Putin to you.
That guy's crazy, man.
Dude, we got literally a warmongering lunatic. He's got a side. I'm gonna use the preferred nomenclature here because we got family folks watching here. But he's got a side girlfriend that he's got to hide in a different country, where he's got multiple kids by her, a gymnast, right?
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah. He legitimately does.
Where are his parents? Yeah, where are you ever notice that? Where are dictators' parents?
What? So you're basically saying
Mr. Putin is like, what are you doing?
Why did Putin not grow up getting spanked?
Where's Daddy Putin?
Did he not get the belt?
Yeah, he might have got it too much.
Or maybe he got it too much here. I mean, what is the presumptuous is an understatement. Go into another country, take over the country?
I don't get it. I truly don't understand. Is it a megalomaniac? Is that what
it is, Judah?
I just don't understand.
That's for Nick Wright. That's a Nick Wright question over there.
I don't understand the desire to want
or Lair Bear.
Lair Bear. I honestly don't understand the concept of wanting to run a country and be a dictator. I'm like, it seems like it's so much responsibility and work. And
right.
I wouldn't, and honestly, I couldn't have that many people not like me.
I mean, the whole world hates this man.
Yeah.
Hates this man. Even his own people hate him.
I know.
He's created an economic crash in his whole world, in his whole country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bananas here. What do you feel like, how do you feel like our country's doing?
Honestly, man, if I'm going to be truthful,
please.
When being in the military, you kind of become immune to a lot of the stuff that goes on economically, just because it's such a constant thing. Like I never like gas. Okay, you know what? I get it. Gas is expensive, but other than that, as far as like the housing market, having BAH, and all that kind of stuff, even when people were talking about all the medical stuff and healthcare, as a military member in my 20s, I didn't get it because I'm in the military. But now that I'm out, it sucks.
Yeah. It ain't cheap.
It sucks, man.
Do you think about this? And Kathy Myers, we're going to get to your comment here. She's giving you guys props. She's part of the team, right?
Yep.
Yes, she says, appreciate letting everyone know about what we have going on Saturday during the day and with Chris that night. NBC 29, the newsroom, watching the program right now. NBC 29, this would be a great event for you guys to cover this weekend. Don't you think, you know who I worry about, and this is me as, and this could be a good question for you too, Peppy. In fact, you have the oldest, how many kids you got, Peppy?
Just one.
Okay, we all have one.
Yep.
I worry about our kids. Now, my son's the youngest here at the table. You have a teenager. Miles is 9.
9.
Mine's 4. I worry about our kids. I was talking about this with one of my neighbors, and I'm like, dude, the housing market is so out of control. And my neighbor's like, yeah, my kids will never be able to live here. And was just completely fine with it. Like apathetic, completely fine with it. It's like, it doesn't even matter. It is what it is. It's just expensive. And I'm like, good God, you just don't care that your kids are trying to live here and they'll never be able to afford to live in this area?
It's wild.
It's wild. What do you feel about next gen, Chris, and our kids?
Oh, man, next gen.
I know you think about this.
I do, man. I think about it a lot. And what scares me is I don't want my son to grow up and have to tell his kids or grandkids like, oh yeah, back in the day we used to play in the sprinklers. We used to be able to go outside. We used to be able to do all this kind of stuff. Yeah, we used to have leftover food, all that kind of stuff. The things that we kind of take for granted now. Just water, having extra food, living in a still somewhat comfortable climate for most of the world. And if people don't take this stuff seriously, man, it's just like, people have to realize, and hopefully the pandemic for some people, make people realize, and this is hard for some people to hear. So I'm I'm too low?
He wants to see your face. Yeah, he's the best looking guy at this table right here.
Here's a hard fact that it's hard for about 400 million people in this country to get a grasp of. Here we go. And I'm going to say a bad word.
Okay.
All right?
I mean, usually you say them before now. I mean, this is the longest you've ever gone without saying a bad word.
Right. Mother Nature and the earth doesn't give a fuck about America or the Constitution or our founding fathers. Look at the pandemic. People were like, oh, we'll be fine. People really think that America is immune to stuff. We're not immune to anything. We're not. We're human beings. All these lines we created, it's all imaginary. People think this global warming thing is a joke. It's not a joke. We have finite resources. Finite resources. There are billions of people on the planet every day. We're just consuming, throwing shit out. We're not very efficient the way we do things. We can't maintain this forever. And I'm not trying to cause a panic or anything, but we do have to think about the future. And it's mind-boggling to me that the people who are, and I don't want to make it political, but the right-wing people who typically think about the future when it comes to like finances and all that kind of stuff, hey, you got a plan. Also, you're a Christian. You say there's no other life out there, there's no aliens, there's no other planets, then we should respect this one planet that we have. If we're so special in God's eyes, why are we destroying what he gave us? If we're really the only people in the universe, then we should really take care of what we have. It's not about being some liberal cuck or anything. No, let's respect, y'all like respecting property, right? Let's respect God's property, this earth, and take care of each other and take care of it and be wise when we use the resources that will not last forever. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
I like it. Peppy, jump in here.
Sorry, Peppy.
I like it.
I'm giving him all the prompts. He's on top.
Sorry.
He's
Therapy.
Yeah, right there.
Nick Wright.
This is what therapy by the river will do for you. Sorry. Comedy. Sorry.
Is Miles showing any interest in girls yet? Too young?
A little bit.
Yeah?
A little bit. It was a little embarrassing a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
There was a little group of young ladies around, and I can tell he wanted their attention. So he turns to me, he goes, oh, Dad, did you see me beat that really hard precision Mario level the other day? And like he's looking over to see if he's going to get a response from these young little girls. And I'm like, dude, they don't care about Mario. And I'm like, don't feel bad because I have friends who are 30 who are still trying to pick up women talking about freaking video games and wrestling. So don't feel bad.
What did you tell him was the best icebreaker instead of Mario? Did you give him any advice?
I don't. He's a cute kid.
Yeah?
He's a cute, just flash that smile.
That's what you told him?
Flash the smile.
Oh, man. Talk to us, Peppy, about your teenager.
So, well, and just kind of living vicariously through you and reflecting of my experiences with my son at 4, and going to youth soccer with my kid, who he was a soccer phenom in youth soccer, and then going up into 9 and 10, and just watching him develop. My wife and I just enjoy just the splendors of watching him, and as you said, just making the right choices, making sure the communication's there with him. He's now a very well stable, preparing himself for college. It's great to see some of the choices he's making. It's really great to be able to. Really, our biggest thing is, we can teach them and we can tell them all the things we want to teach them or want to try to get them to learn, right? But we're not going to know until he goes outside without us around and somebody else comes up and says, hey, Chris, your kid did this really awesome, and just want to let you know. It's stuff like that we hear on the side that just makes it, just puts the frosting on the cake. So all the blood, sweat, and tears that we put in to him as he was growing up, we're getting a little bit of that now, and we're just like, oh, it actually worked.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's scary, man.
That's good to hear.
I'm terrified about the next stage.
Yeah, what? Teenagers?
Yeah, but just like the internet and the porn and this and the that and it's a lot. And I know sometimes I'm not big on details, and I know I have to be on top of that. You know what's crazy too? He might be able to attest to this. Like, people talk about porn, all this kind of stuff, and you know, kind of shielding our kids from it. But I really think YouTube is way freaking worse.
Oh my God.
Way
so
worse. Way worse.
My kid is, so we had to get rid of normal YouTube. He's watching YouTube Kids, which is a scaled down version of YouTube.
Right.
He would start on normal YouTube watching like Blippi. Remember Blippi at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we started with Blippi, a kid's show.
Okay.
Next thing I know, I turn over, he's swiping up and he's watching like, I don't know, teenagers, everyone's streaming video game playing now onto YouTube. And he's watching a machine gun, like, you know, like a killing video game.
Right.
And I'm like, my kid is 4 years old watching this. I don't even realize that he's doing this. We had to get rid of normal YouTube. And on top of that, I'll talk to him. He'll be sitting where you are. And I'm like, son. And he doesn't even hear me. Dude, yeah. Is that how it is?
Yeah.
Where he's like mesmerized. It's
They
like
love
drugs.
it. Yeah.
He doesn't even hear me. What scares the hell out of you about YouTube?
It's just like, I had a friend of mine. I won't tell the whole story, but it's just you don't know who can be indoctrinating your kid. You know, not to get into the politics, but there could be some people with some really far left ideas, and your kid goes down that rabbit hole, the super right wing stuff, and then not to mention all the conspiracy theory stuff. You know, and if you don't know what your kid is watching, you don't know what the hell is going on in their brain.
Yeah.
You know? You don't know.
And it's all these trends too, you know, the TikTok trends.
Right.
It started, well, not started with, but Tide Pod thing was a big, whatever, got kids to think that they could consume a Tide Pod and survive it. Then watching the milk crate challenge and people falling from, it was humorous at times, but I just saw business because, you know, wherever they are, they're going to be calling us.
Right.
So the challenges that go out, it's just silly. But it's, I don't know what to say about it. It's just silly.
What do you think of Musk buying Twitter? You can put any thought into that?
Honestly, I don't think anything is going to change, man.
No?
I don't.
You're a Twitter guy?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
The thing about social media platforms, and honestly, any business that you're not really in, everything looks easy from the outside. You know what I mean? So like, people are like, oh, he bought Twitter, we're going to be able to say whatever we want to say. Even with like Truth Social and all these like right-wing free speech, you can't just get on someone's platform and just say what you want to say. And then when you own that, you realize like, man, I can't just have anybody on here saying anything. So I think once he owns it, he's going to see how much of a headache it is. Honestly, dude, I don't think within 2 years he won't even own it. I don't think he'll own it.
Wow.
I don't think you. That is a monster to deal with.
Yeah.
A monster.
Yeah.
People think that's easy. Oh yeah, you can just go in here. No. Do you think some right-wing social media platform is going to let some super liberal trans man get on there and do and say exactly what they want to say?
Should
Absolutely not.
Should the platforms just be the epicenter of just total free speech?
No.
You do not think so. You gotta. That was a firm no. Why? Tell me.
You got to have a filter.
Okay.
You can't.
You got to have a filter.
Yeah, I'm all for free speech.
Yeah.
The thing is, the people that like to play this game, they want to play both sides. They're all about personal responsibility, being professional. Then even by just saying that, being able to say exactly what you want to say doesn't fall underneath that umbrella. It doesn't. Being an adult is realizing you cannot say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say.
But it goes back to what he said before about mutual respect. If it's in your mind and you don't have that filter and you say something that's just not respectful, it should not be said. It shouldn't even be part of your thought process. But you just have to have mutual respect. Free speech, absolutely. Say what's on your mind, build consensus, have that opportunity to have a discussion so that there's progress in what your conversation is. But if you're not having that conversation and you're stuck in the mud and you're unwilling to listen to the other side. It doesn't mean you have to change position. You just have to listen, build consensus. Like Chris had said, I respect you. You can have your positions, and I'm going to have mine, and we'll meet in the middle and agree to disagree. But either way, we respect each other.
This is not, what I'm about to say is 100% not about politics. I just find this to be a head scratcher. Explain to me how Vladimir Putin has a Twitter account, but Donald Trump was banned from Twitter. Who can explain that?
It boils down to.
Who can explain that?
If it boils down to, did you violate their terms of service? And the weight of what Donald Trump says in America, because we're American, it's an American company, has more weight than what Vladimir Putin said. Like if Putin tweeted, I wouldn't see it. There's world leaders tweeting all the time. Some guy from Sri Lanka who is some left-wing nut is tweeting something right now. I don't see it because I'm not a Sri Lanka. But when you have the most powerful man in the world in the most powerful seat on the planet, you have to watch your mouth.
You want to touch that one, Peppy?
No, I'll just support him. Just support Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he's that guy. I don't want to get it, but that guy he's a dangerous guy. But I don't want to get into it. We're here to talk about comedy.
Yeah.
For the EMS.
Thank you, Chris.
We're here to talk about comedy. But they're talking about reinstating Donald Trump.
Yeah, Musk said that.
Yeah.
Musk said that.
We need to bring Trump back just so Chris has some more material.
Ammunition.
Yeah, just
Some
more
ammunition.
material.
Honestly, man, his supporters need him more than anybody else. They always say like, "Oh, you always bringing up Trump because you can't move on." No, if you look at any Republican that's running, they all got again in their slogan somehow. They're the ones that need him to survive. They do. And even that guy, we can get over Donald Trump. But what scares me is we think he's bad, the next motherfucker will be 10 times worse.
What do you think of midterms coming up?
I'm just getting into that. I'm really just getting into politics, but I'm not sure, man, to be honest.
Throw this to you, Peppy. How can the viewers and listeners here, and I'm seeing 6 states on the show here, how can the viewers and listeners support the Thomas Jefferson EMS Council?
Ooh.
From 6 states away, come to our website, donate on our website, or just volunteer locally. Again, EMS is global. It's back into what Chris said, looking at our own nation and what we can do at home. I come from a small town. I grew up helping my neighbor, right? Moved to Charlottesville, another small town, a little bit bigger of a small town, but we're a small town. We're helping each other out. And whether you're here in Charlottesville, whether you're on the other side, the bi-coastal, as you were saying with Chris, everybody who can help out in their communities, whether it's supporting the local EMS station or coming in and dedicating their time and their energy, however you can do it, it's going to benefit us as a whole.
I always ask you about Charlottesville and how Central Virginia and this community is. And each time I've noticed with you that you're getting more and more, like, you like it more and more. First time I had you on.
I do.
First time you had you on, you were like, dude, this place was not welcoming. And each time you come on, you seem to like it more. Is that fair?
Yeah, but you know what it is, Jerry? It kind of goes back to what he's saying, getting out and talking to people. You know what I mean? You know, having those one-off, situations with people will sour you. Yeah. Just like in life. Like, I've talked to many people in my military career, and, like, they might have an issue with a person of color or something. They go, hey, man, what happened? And, man, when I was, like, 10, I used to go to the park all the time. These black kids used to pick on me, or these white people used to pick on me. And you go, oh, okay, I can understand why you are hesitant and all that kind of stuff. But then you build a rapport with those people. They open up, and next thing you know, they're coming over for dinner and all that kind of stuff. We just have to, like you're saying, be willing and open to talk to others, understand where they're coming from, and that really makes things better. Look at our relationships. All right, me and my wife have been going through a little rough patch lately, right? And the other day, I actually went downstairs. I was like, this is bothering me. What's going on with you? We talked for about an hour and a half, and I just felt the temperature just in our house go down so much. Why? Because I asked the question, I expressed myself, I used explicit language, and not cursing, but like what I wanted to know, where I felt like I was messing up or where she was going wrong. We talked about it, and it made things a lot better. And I think where we go wrong is there are groups left and right. They don't want to have a discussion. Let's be honest. Groups don't want to have a discussion. The left, they don't want to have certain discussions when it comes to gender, when it comes to sexuality. They go, that's just rude. Well, people don't know shit until you give them an answer. People have to, I get it. Some answers may come across as disrespectful. We have to learn how to use our words correctly, choose the right way to ask things, but we don't get better unless we ask. Same thing with the thing on the right. I understand this whole racial thing, our history in America, it is not easy to talk about. But until you talk about it, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not about blaming anybody. It's not about blaming white people or this group. It's about having a discussion and going, look, our history kind of fucked this group of people up over here, man. So we would like a little help. And my thing is too, man, I really think as a country, we need to stop focusing on shitty people. I'm willing to go, hey, who in America really wants to move forward? And people raise their hand and go, you know what? This is our group of people. If you want to be racist against this group, do your fucking thing. But the majority of us, we're going to move forward. And eventually, if you want to come on board, you can come on board.
Do you think people want to move forward? Do you think they do?
Yes.
I think so. But
you know what it's like? It's like, does everybody want to be in shape? Fuck yeah. But guess what?
No one wants to put in the work.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because it hurt. Growing hurts. Like for me, therapy didn't start working for me until I realized this. I would go to therapy and we would talk about stuff and I would go, this ain't fair. What about my wife? She should be in here too. Or what about this fucking guy? They should be in here. Why is it me? It took me a few months of complaining about that. And then one day I was like, Chris, why are you worried about everybody else? This is an hour for you to be selfish and work on yourself. And I was like, shit, you're right. And once I started to actually use my therapy to work on the stuff I needed to work on is when I started to get a little bit better. Like I hate criticism, but I'm learning through therapy, it's not the end all be all. You know what I mean? It's just like we hear these hurtful words, your breast stinks, you do this wrong, you suck at that. But then you go, you know what? Okay, this hurts. My face is hot, but how can I improve on that? And once you get over yourself and we get over our fucking egos, we can become a better country, man.
You're killing life, man.
Sorry, man.
You're killing life.
I think I've had a lot to say lately, and I've just been pent up.
Nick Wright needs a tip.
Well, you can tip him. I already paid that.
Lamb Bear needs a tip over there.
But Sunday is comedy. Comedy Sunday at the Southern. Doors open at 6:30. 6. Okay? Don't worry about the ticket price. That's like $20 a ticket or whatever. Just come on down, support the EMS. We got a great show.
Tell us the other comics that are going to be there.
I got Jessica Liz. She's very funny. TJ Ferguson and my man Jamal Russell. My man Tim Miller was supposed to be in town, but he got a paying gig at a club in D.C. He had to cancel. But I replaced him with yet another younger. I wish you could hear that. A younger, funny comic. This dude named Jamal Russell. Very, very funny. I'm looking forward to it. So it's me, Jamal Russell, TJ Ferguson, a Nelson County native. You want to support a local boy? Come out and see TJ Ferguson and Jessica Liz from Virginia Beach.
All right, Peppy. One more plug for the TJ EMS Council.
EMS Appreciation Week next week. We've got on our website, we're going to be doing things each day throughout the week, and just educating the providers in the community what's going on. So take a look at our website and our Facebook feeds, tgems.org or tgems VATgems on Facebook. But I don't want to take away from it. Just remember that it's Nurses Appreciation Week as well. We're all in the same team together. Everybody that's involved in healthcare is putting our time in, putting our dedication in, and it's all about the support of the community, providing for the local providers.
Right.
And if you want to adopt a local EMS agency, give our office a call. We'll put you in contact with one of one of the nearest EMS agencies. I'm round. It's a good shape.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But having the opportunity to come in and get a meal from a community member, getting just accolades, however you want to provide to your local EMS providers, just reach out and take that opportunity to tell them thank you and show them that you care.
Yeah, man. He can tell you too. There's nothing cooler or better when you're in uniform. And out the blue, you have normal, regular citizens. Hey, we saw you guys out here working. Here's a few pizzas. You know, you would go to the drinks were on us. I mean, military people and people in uniform, first respond. People really appreciate that. Like I get it. We all have our qualm, our hang-ups with whoever, doctors, but it's a hard job, man. It's a hard job. I have my issues with police, man, but you know what? There are times where I see cops out. Hey, he's behind me at a grocery store. Can I pay for his drinks? I know that's not an easy job to do. I used to want to be a cop, man. It's not easy. It's not easy wearing that uniform. You know, because when you put that uniform on, everything that you're going through in your life, you have to shed that. You have to shed it, no matter how. You know, there's always so many guys going through awful divorces. You put that uniform on, you have to smile to people. You got to shake little kids' hands and take pictures with them and, you know, tell them to stay in school. But when you're going through stuff, that can be tough. So when they come through, it could be a case of water. I've seen people do that, you know. Case of water to the cops working the front gate or something like that. Pizzas. We really, really appreciate that.
Yep.
I love you guys, man. Chris, we got to do this again.
Oh, I would love to.
Every time you come on, man, I feel you crush it. You bring brevity.
That was sarcastic.
Levity.
Because that definitely wasn't brief.
Levity is the word I was looking for
we
right
need
there.
more Jonah.
Wait, we do. Judah kills it over here.
Why do I say Jonah? Judah, I'm so sorry.
Because you like the Jonas Brothers over there. Peppy, we love you.
Thank you. Thank you
We
for having
appreciate
me.
you guys. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me,
Thank you
man.
for helping set this up.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jerry.
We certainly
little
appreciate it.
cutie pie.
All right, fellas, you guys have a good one. Thank you for joining us on the show. Couple other items I want to cover on today's program. Fellas, you have a good one. I want to highlight, and J-Dubs, we'll get a two-shot in the mix here in a matter of moments. I want to highlight the Bodo story, take care, that I touched on yesterday. I'm going to give 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes a take on this. The unionization of this, take care of this quarter location, J-Dubs, let's go to the unionization efforts of the UVA quarter Bodos. Dude, this is something you got to follow. You got staff at the UVA corner Bodos Bagels location that are trying to utilize collective bargaining to form a union at a local bagel shop. They're now recruiting other team members at other locations. And I need to emphasize this to everyone that's watching the program. I'm all for paying team members the right way. But the local mom and pops are not going to be able to withstand unionization efforts. If this push happens, it's only going to push the deck of cards in favor of the big box brands and the corporately owned brands. The ones with deep cash positions, economies of scale, and vertically integrated companies. Bodo's right now is paying cashiers $15, $16, $17 an hour. The team members want more. Look, you want more, work to build a career, learn a trade, go to a 4-year school and become an expert in a specific profession. Become an electrician, a plumber. become a nurse, a doctor, become an attorney, engineer, a professor. Small mom and pop food and beverage businesses are not going to be able to pay staff $18, $19, $20, $21 an hour and stay open. They're just going to close the company. And when they close the company, the jobs are going to go away. And the deck of cards is going to be in favor. The chips are going to be pushed to the big box brands that have the cash positions, the corporate restaurants. Watch what happens with Bodo's. Because if this is a keeping up with the Joneses situation that influences other staff at other locally owned businesses to do similar things, it's going to create a real pain point for mom and pops and the locally owned brands we love. Am I missing something here? Do you think I'm missing something here with this take?
No.
Have you thought about this?
I haven't given it a whole lot of thought, but I mean, I think you're right. This isn't this isn't like a factory or a hospital, or I mean, they're serving food, and that's not to disparage any the jobs that they do, but from what I've heard, Boda's is probably one of the better employers.
Highest paid fast food, quick serve, fast casual food and beverage in the area.
Yeah.
Highest one.
And I don't know anything about their other what do you call it?
Locations?
No. Their other
Move on.
the things that they provide, like health and dental and whatnot.
Their benefits.
Yeah, benefits. I don't know how they scale against other businesses, but seriously, what is it that these people want? That's what I want to know. What are they trying to get?
They want more money, Judah.
You know that for sure, for certain? Or
That's what they're doing. They want more money.
Okay. Have you read that, or are you just saying that because they want to form a?
That's what they want.
Okay.
A union comes together and utilizes collective bargaining to get more money and benefits.
But sometimes it's more about benefits than it is about money.
It's all the same for the employer.
Okay.
It's all the same.
All right. Well, then go on.
I mean, if folks want, look, Bodo's is not Starbucks. Starbucks is a publicly traded company that's got a huge cash position. Starbucks can withstand unionization efforts. Local mom and pops that have 1 location, 2 locations, 3 locations, Bodo's has 3. It's one of the bigger ones here in Charlottesville. They cannot. This is going to eventually lead, if this gains more traction, to owners asking themselves, should we even keep the corner location open?
Yeah.
They don't own the real estate. I mean, and I'm going to be very straightforward here. Bodo's staff, you want more perks and benefits and money? Go to school, learn a trade, and get a job that's not in fast food. Right?
Yeah.
What am I missing here? Go to school, learn a trade, get a career that's not in fast food. Am I missing something here?
I don't know.
I'm trying to be empathetic and sympathetic to people's plights. Okay?
Okay.
I legitimately am. But someone who's working the cashier, or someone that's putting cream cheese in a tub, or making a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, that's fast food. That's a QSR, a quick serve restaurant. Look, man, I'm all about fair wages and a living wage. But this catches momentum and spreads to other locally owned businesses, they're going to close. They're already operating on the slimmest margins ever, thanks to supply chain issues, cost of goods, fuel costs being out of control. The margins for food and beverage are tighter than they've ever been. Now you got staff trying to collective bargaining and unionize? Come on. Come on. I had to get that off my chest. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
I mean, where do we stop?
We stop when we put everybody out of business. I mean,
Right?
yeah.
I mean, do we stop when it's nothing but big box brands that can survive? I mean, the pandemic already put a nail through so many locally owned coffins.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us helped it along by just
Not supporting them.
by going to Amazon. I mean, how many people? Oh, well, Amazon can deliver it in 2 days. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, thanks for not spending that money on your neighbor's business or your friend's business or supporting your local economy. So yeah, when Amazon is selling you all your goods, and that's the only option, remember that there was a time you could have shopped somewhere else.
That's it. I had to get that off. Tomorrow's Friday. We got chairwoman Donna Price on Real Talk at 10:15 a.m. She's running for the new 55th district. I saw her yesterday. Had a great conversation with Donna Price. She's going to be at Real Talk, Board of Supervisors, Chairwoman Donna Price, 10:15 a.m., Real Talk with Keith Smith. Tomorrow at 12:30 on the I Love CVille Show, Carrie Rock of Do Good CVille, Judah.
All right.
Carrie Rock in the house. That's today's program. Peppy and Chris crushed it. I got to emphasize this. There's no more important time than literally right now to support your locally owned businesses. You got so many locally owned businesses with inflation, fuel, cost of goods, supply chain, and labor issues that the local mom and pops are as fragile as ever, literally right now. And now this unionization trend is happening. Support them if you want to see them survive. That's the show. I'm Jerry for Judah. This is the I Love CVille Show. Take care.